it'll last for anything. Well, I just don't think that it's intrinsic to Hinduism that there are, divinely inspired messengers of the same grade as Muhammad today. Like, it may be the case that many Hindus actually do believe this, but it's not theologically normative to believe this, and that's what matters here sometimes. Yeah, first of all, we don't have a concept of messengers. We only have a concept of gurus. And anybody can become a guru, anybody can be divinely inspired. There's no exclusivity for a messenger in Hinduism, but it was not for Hinduism alone. My point is, any other religion might take offense and might feel they're violated. Should they go on a killing spree because of this? Well, go ahead.
I was going to say, speaking of, things that might offend other people, like, what is the status of foreigners under the caste system again?
Dr. Sasha, you know how much you sound like Longmont Potion Castle? It's unbelievable.
Assumption that it's like basically equal.
I think that is bad. Well, your comments are distractions. Like, let me just, gotcha moment. Oh, I'm so smart. I'm such a bad, self-hating Hindu folk. I got a gotcha moment right now. I know so much about you, dude.
You gotta understand, there is a book. It's called The Feeling Good. Deepak, there's a book called The Feeling Good Handbook. It's a psychology book, and it has a list of 10 or 15 cognitive distortion disorders, and one of them is all or nothing thinking. And if you don't think that Islam is not the biggest hypocrite of all or nothing thinking of all time, and is essentially just copyright infringement, and it's just it's so crazy that it worked, but it's not. It's so essentially automatic, meaning if you want to convert to Islam, it's just a one quick sentence. So as you're conquering lands and you're building up a horde of slaves and nations, everyone can quickly and easily transfer to the new political ruler by declaring that Muhammad is the one and only true messenger and the last messenger of God. It's ridiculous bullshit hypnosis. It's evil. It's stupid. It's low IQ. It's all or nothing. And Hinduism is dynamic, and it's really based on wisdom and not the wisdom of the sword. It's based on going within as opposed to going without, and this going outside. This is the problem with Islam. They don't go within. They do not. They don't realize their own divinity. They're just fucking stupid low IQ people who don't want to read more than one stupid book.
I think the general problem of liberals, around the world is that, they have a simple mental model. This religion is shit. All religions must be shit. Shit is all the same, so all religions must be the same. And the simple mental model is how they make their arguments for everything they learn, everything they do. When they go support Palestine, they think along the same lines. So it's a very simple brain. The liberal brain is a very simple. They don't understand nuance. They don't go in depth. They have no patience to go one level below the surface. And I get how the brain works. I also appreciate why they say what they do, or why they partner with Islamists around the world. This is a phenomenon. It's not unique. So I get it.
Yeah, one of the most lonesome doctrines in Islam that, all people, I think all Muslims are supposed to be equal, right? Which, again, if you come from the Hindu casteist perspective, right, it's depressing.
Yeah, how are all Muslims the same when the Shia says the Sunni is not a Muslim? The Sunni says the Barelvi is not a Muslim. The Barelvi says the Ahmadi is not a Muslim. They don't go to each other's mosque. They're not allowed to enter each other's mosques. The Ahmadi of Pakistan are not even allowed to declare they are Muslims. On their passport, they have to sign a form and say we are not Muslims. Because if they say we are Muslims, they will get fucking killed. The Ahmadiyas live in protective custody in the middle of their own country, Pakistan. Who built Pakistan? The Ahmadiyas. They were the ones who wanted a separate country for the Muslims. And how are they being tortured within Pakistan today? No, there is no unity in Islam. There is no equality in Islam. In Islam, women are not the same as men. In Islam, Shia is not the same as Sunnis. In Islam, if you don't speak Arabic, you're a third-grade fucking animal. Indian Muslims who go to spit on by the Iranians, and Indian Muslims talk about it extensively on YouTube channels on how they're treated. I mean, the list goes on and on. I mean, like, you're going to be well read to know these things, dude.
Just keep defending it. I mean, spend years defending your weak position. It's a stupid position. It's like somebody who goes to Thanksgiving and says, I don't want to taste everything. I just want to eat the turkey and that's it. It's all or nothing position. It's a cognitive distortion disorder.
Anyway, guys, I gotta go, but have a good night. Cheers. Take care.
Thanks, Shiva. At least we've proved that Islam is right about women. Well, I think Sam fell asleep because, he's on here 7 days a week, 40, 80 hours a day. But, Sam is sleeping, enjoying all this in his dreams. I'm sure we're cognitively programming him in his sleep.
Deepak, are you still there?
Yeah, I can listen, yeah.
The reason that I mentioned earlier that Sam and I were talking about Ted Chiang earlier today, the context was that we were discussing the Aztecs, and I floated the idea that Ted Chiang should write a story. He likes to write stories where, like, pre-modern scientific or social theories turn out to be actually correct. And so I thought you should write a story where, like, the Aztecs are right about everything, like you need human sacrifices to keep the sun rising every day.
Yeah, you read the one about Babel, right? I guess it's not. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think that was the second one he wrote. I really love that one. I recommended it to all of my friends.
There's a book you might like. I don't know if you already read it. It's called Babel by it's a different Babel by this author called R.F. Kuang. It won, I think, the Nebula last year. It has a really interesting premise. Like the idea that there's like one kind of magic in the world.
To get too philosophical about it, really what I'm going based off of is just like my common sense, like everyday intuitions about life. That like there is me, and then there's other people that aren't me that go through different things and whatnot. And so I'm not thinking like too deeply about it, the nature of the world, but more so that like that the fact that there are different things that exist like seems to align like with my experiences, right? So it kind of seems like what you're saying is like there's only just one thing that exists.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
And so no, that's fine. And that you would say that's the universe?
call it the universe, call it consciousness, call it the higher being, call it the collective knowledge. I mean, sweet child, that's got many names, right?
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting.
So, if I may, can I ask you a question, man?
Yeah, of course.
So, are you interested? I'm just trying to figure out your interests also, right? And I appreciate, I appreciate your common sense because I've seen you a few times here on Clubhouse, and I love to talk about common sense, but sort of outside of the prism of religion and dogmas and these things, right? Like sort of more like what are the kind of common sense that we can derive here and now without name dropping philosophers and all these people, right? Like
Labels,
yeah, because in the end of the day, like common sense is something we develop, right? It's not something that's imposed on us. We can't just put a book in and all our faith into one book and I mean, it would be silly. It would be non-commonsensical to place all your eggs in one basket, right? Like just saying, okay, this is the book I go with. This is the book I'm going to worship for the rest of my life. I mean, you got to agree with me just a little bit on that. It's not commonsensical. It is common sense, right? It's if you ask me, I
Okay, so it just depends on like what like the book says, what type of.
Depends on the book itself.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely. I mean, because as I mentioned, saying or saying to worship a book, right? Because I think that that's nonsensical. Of course, I think you would probably say the same thing. But if the idea is that the book is written based on, right, or the message that the book is sending is something that, upon reading it, humans feel a strong need to take it as sacred, right? Something that is not just any other, like, mundane like, thing that they read or any other thing that they come across, right? That, like, these messages, for one reason or another, are to be held sacred amongst people. That's not worshiping a book, but that's just like
you asked
realizing
me.
what things are important for us.
You asked me before if I'm a believer, and thinking about it while you were talking, it's just hit me. I believe in transformation. Okay, so some people want to keep things fixed. Some people want transformation. I'm speaking of extremes now, right? It's on the spectrum, and if you think about it, all books has the potential to be transformers, right? Um, and when you think about it, it's often when you really take a step back, when people say, "Oh, you got to read this book; it changed my life." No, it didn't. If you really take a step back, you were just looking for an excuse to transform. You've heard of confirmation bias. I'm sure. I got a feeling you know a bit about psychology. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about also the other possibility is that they were enlightened by something they learned in the book, and that inspired them to act and change their life.
But that would, if they were really like, I think it would allow them to detach from the book and say, well, it was not the book; it was something else. You know, it was.
Well, they can attach it to certain things in themselves, right? That it's not purely the fact that they read the book, but that the knowledge of the book linked with their own, motivations or dispositions about certain things that, like,
Sure.
that led to a real transformation, right?
But if you ask me,
the book is still a necessary condition for that.
yeah. Again, I'm not claiming to be enlightened. By the way, just want to make that clear. But I say, like, I think I would imagine if somebody is enlightened and pointing towards one thing, and especially like a book, and saying this is the answer. For me, it's my common sense, my gut feeling says, but then they're not enlightened.
Wouldn't it depend on like what the book says though?
Well, okay, so here's the thing. Even I come on Clubhouse, I see a lot of these rooms, right, where obviously people are very, very consumed in the scriptures, right? But and if it feels like stepping back in time, feels like going back to the Stone Age in some way, because there are so, like, the body of human knowledge is so vast right now. I get that there was a time, long time before the internet, long time before books were written, long time before the Gutenberg project. Scriptures were scarce, right? Scriptures were scarce. It was like very limited what you could read. But now you can find suggestions. I want to decline the word answers. You can find suggestions. You can find inspiration in so many sources of quote unquote knowledge. Again, because in this room, knowledge is questionable. But
Don't you find it at least suspicious that with the rise in our progress of knowledge, right, or like our progress in like human advancement and technology and all of that, that the scriptures are as relevant as they are today in terms of people taking them seriously? Don't you at least like find that suspicious that it was relevant back then and it's still relevant now with all this progress?
Well, I'm not. We could go on forever about this, and I'm not sure we would get anywhere even though, I mean, I'm critical of artificial intelligence as well, right? But I would put more faith into LLMs, large language models, collected human knowledge. I would put more faith into that than any scripture written thousands of years ago.
Okay, and you read the scriptures, said scriptures.
How the fuck could I ever read all these scriptures? Like, I don't even want to bother. Like, I don't give a shit when people ask me about this shit. How did you know it's not true if you didn't read it? Well, like, you go read it. I spent my time.
Well, how do you know it's unimpressive? That's the question.
Well, I don't need to know if it's more impressive than the knowledge I have from other sources. I know that the knowledge I have from other sources is very impressive. You know, already. I don't need to have. Yeah.
But this is a different category of knowledge that we have here, right? So we're talking about knowledge of, like, let's say maybe how the world works. Yeah, maybe you have superior ways of, like, gaining that knowledge through things that you think are just genuinely better than trying to read it out of the scripture, right? However, talking about knowledge of morality and God and these types of things, maybe the scripture is the place to go for these things, and that it doesn't contradict.
And that's where we fundamentally disagree. And I respect your stance on that, Damon. I don't think I can convince you otherwise. I don't think you can convince me otherwise. So, I mean, let's leave it at that idea. But that's where we found out where we're different. I don't think we find morality in the scriptures. I think we find morality in common sense and conversation and debates, dialogues, diplomacy. That I think this is where we find morality. I don't believe.
No, I'm not talking about finding morality. I'm talking about, like, our sense of morality is enriched in part by, like, these stories,
Yes,
these divinely revealed stories, right?
That I agree with.
Maybe that's speaking to more of the moral aspect, of ourselves and our ability to appreciate that, or, like, other types of knowledge you're talking about, knowledge of, like, how the world works and whatnot. That you can go to something else to find, superior method for that.
No, I appreciate that, Eamon, and thanks for clarifying that, because that I agree with. I agree. First of all, yes, I think first there's sort of a premise in what we're saying here that morality is a high point, like it's something we ought to achieve, right? And the question is, where do we find it? Where do we look for it? And yes, I agree with you. We can find inspiration in the archetypes of the scriptures, because, like, they do try to write stories about certain events that I think are stories for inspiration. Really, I don't think the scriptures were ever made really to be the final truth. I think we're sort of misinterpreting it sometimes when we think that it's there to give you the certainty. I don't believe in that, but I think it's there to inspire. And you're right, like, to give inspiration and for people to use their own common sense, right? The golden rule is for me, that's common sense. The golden rule, it goes hand in hand, if you ask me, right? It's just, why would it not be common sense that
No, sorry, I didn't mean to go.
So why would it not be common sense to treat others the same way as you want to be treated? Why would it not be common sense that you would try to reach some principles that we can live by? But by law, land is created. By law, nations are created, right? But why, like this? I think this is it's common sense that.
Because I doubt other people exist, so how can I treat others the way I want to be treated if I don't know other people exist?
Can I say something? Have you ever read the Glorious Quran? Because it seems to me like it is a large language data set, and that it's line by line, just like Gestalts. Like, it says the throats. Then the next line says the day when you shall be called up. So it's like giving concepts. It's like a book on concepts, or a group of people learning concepts. I'm not impressed. I'm just not impressed with the Glorious Quran. To me, it's a very boring and stupid book, but Cynic Mikhail worships it as the all or nothing book of the best books of all times.
Oh no, where did he go?
Well, Eamon, I appreciate talking with you. should you worship what?
The universe. Why should I worship the universe?
I mean, but I never asked you to worship the universe. I know the question doesn't make sense to me. I'm sorry.
Okay. I assumed as a pantheist, you would hold some like propositions like, you should worship the universe. Like when you say when you say that you're a pantheist, what do you mean by that?
Right. Okay. Thank you for asking that. So
They kicked me. I was just writing in a new sentence, but unfortunately they kicked me before I could get it in. So we'll go back to Sam. Ooh, did Sam's house ended? Damn. Sam must have gone to sleep.
Actually, he was like, hey, I don't know much about this, man. Tell me about it. I just don't know why you can't say that instead of yeah, kind of like.
Welcome back to another low IQ room starring Caveman, a stupid Muslim atheist who will waste all your time, my man, talking about nothing, my man. He's living in Egypt. He's a low IQ piece of shit, stupid person who comes on here and what is all this stupid shit? Bitcoin is obviously not a scam because Taylor Moon tells you so, and it's worth $200 billion. It's not stupid. So, anyways, I want to let you all know that you are back on another episode of Low IQ Stupid People. The game continues.
Ever come in that room, I mean, I am literally gonna just fill out. Hey, yo, Edmund, look up at the top right corner of your screen.
Fatty Jazzy kicked me. It's very sensitive, very delicate right now. Doesn't like getting roasted.
Terah begot Abram, Nahor, and Haran. And Haran begot Lot. And Haran died before his father Terah in the land of his nativity, in Ur of the Chaldees. Okay, so that's the land of his nativity. It would be the same place that Abram, would be his land, Ur of the Chaldees. Correct. Go ahead. So that's a thing. Oh, okay. Yeah. Stop. I tell stop. She no answer. I don't care. Now, so I go another room. And why I don't see your room enter? When
What is the deal with all this fucking shit? All these people are scam liars. Expose them, Big Daddy. Let all the liars and the scammers burn them all in hell's daddy.
Message me if I block you. Like I don't get it. I block you and you still message me.
I said someone blocked me in your room. I messaged you. Someone blocked me in your room. Why don't you announce? If to say another person, I message you. Una go announce it. Someone blocked. Una go close the room. Una go open another room. Yes, all those people should get to tell me.
It's not my room. It is not my room. Get your facts right. It is not my
Yeah,
room.
get your facts right. Don't accuse her of being at her room. Fucking shit. All these people are scam liars. Daddy, cook them all, Big Daddy. They kicked me. That was my first intervention into a Nigerian debate room. I don't think they were really prepared for what I had to say, but so that's life.
Trying too hard. And your boy done left you, so you done left from here to fence for yourself.
And that's what I understand of it. I don't understand if this dude around me, this is the law to Israel. How was any of this pertaining?
Just take all the napkins, just take that whole dispenser and walk out with it.
That's it, right? Just like take the it's like taking the UNICEF box from the corner store and be like, it's mine.
I got a bunch of old cheap clothes.
times.
Well, yeah, they could have that box with the change in it for Ronald McDonald.
Yeah, give me that box. That's what I meant. I couldn't say. I didn't know what it was for, but yeah, UNICEF. I was a little off there.
Allahu Akbar, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillah, stand to prayer, Habibi. Bitcoin. Buy more Bitcoin. Bitcoin makes you healthy. Bitcoin makes you happy. Bitcoin makes you a good person. Buy more Bitcoin. Buy more Bitcoin. Buy more Bitcoin. Buy more Bitcoin. Buy more Bitcoin.
Alright, who else wants to come on? Oh, Carlos wants to come up. Carlos is okay.
Yeah, Carlos. Hey, that was good, guys. Not bad.
Good. Carlos, I did.
Isn't that how you do it?
Allahu Akbar.
Yeah, well, no, I never was a visitor. I was a hijacker. Not very. I think that when I was a low jumper.
Yeah, I was going to but to me, I just get a little lost because I don't really, I mean, I'm pretty sure I can figure out how to live. I get too frustrated too. Like, then I want to be like, I want to go and get it done the right way. You know, I can see girls that say you like that you look cute. You know, but I don't know. No, they be having it. See, that's why I'm scared of too. Like, I just want more stories of girls like they be doing it down to their head and like they edges in their skin coming out. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, but like my sister, she told me she just do blues. And yeah, it do be looking good too. I just need to try the facial white first. You know what I'm saying? But
My blues, I've seen people on TikTok wear them shit. Them shit's good.
yeah, I be seeing they be looking good. But I do want to try blind though, cause I feel like it just complimented me so well. I look so good. Let me tell you how I knew I look good. My male cousin, he don't be giving nobody compliment, and he still didn't give me a compliment when he gave me a compliment. You know, like he see my hair color, and he was like, "Okay, I see you." I was like, "I know I'm looking good. This nigga ain't never giving me no compliment."
Okay, let me ask you guys a question. Do you guys think that Tyler is an industry plant?
He said, "Who?"
Tyler.
What about Tyler?
You think she an industry plant?
Kinda.
I don't know. I ain't even gonna lie. I don't pay enough attention to like shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
The reason why that made me think that is because that whole thing with Dochi, and everybody was getting on her saying she was an industry plant. I was like, why are you thinking she's an industry plant? Tyler really is.
I don't know. I don't know if I heard that. I was gonna say because I heard. I seen something on TikTok about her that made me believe it. You know, I did. That's what made me think it.
Wait a minute, wait. Let's
I
dive in.
know, like,
Why do you think that she's an industry plant?
There's only somebody on that who would say some dumb shit like that.
yeah, I agree. When I seen that, it irritated me. I was like, I don't like it. Because you know that message that, like, why would you say something like that? And then, yeah, and not only that, I didn't hear it already. She was with a dude, and he was fucking me, she be posting so
You just make friends, or is it special?
So because she said that, that's why you think she's an
no, because of all of that, I just don't know. I don't know whether she's an industry plant, but whether she's an industry plant or not, you know what I'm saying? She's not an industry plant. I feel like she agreed to some shit that ain't right. You know what I'm saying? She agreed to some shit that ain't right, and she pushing shit that's weird as fuck. I really think that about her.
I think Tyler is an industry plant.
I also want her to come in, and I ain't no big, huge like Nicki. I'm not a stan or anything like how people be like. I'll never be that. I'm just somebody who likes your music. I'm not a stan. I'm not a bar. I'm not none of that shit. I'm too grown for that. But I feel like Nicki deserve like worthless shit on fucking Grammy, and y'all can't do it and give it to these new hoes. They ain't even did half of what she has done. I just think that's bogus. I don't know.
I think about an industry plant, and I've been thinking that this must have done something in the industry because she got real dark. She be doing some weird shit.
I don't know. I think you know you gotta watch out for some of that shit. And then some people, like I said, because I didn't deal with somebody
She was showing her ass. I was like, girl, why you showing your asshole in front of me?
I didn't deal with somebody in the industry before, and you just never know. You never know who is what. The real is because it can be anybody. It can be the person that you least suspect. Tied in and with the bullshit. Fuck your ass into it. So you just gotta be careful. I had somebody that grew up with my family members and called me family. You know what I'm saying? That's it. And that's why I stopped being assistant because I just felt like he was being weird. And then he was, coming from acting like he believed in me to trying to fuck me all the time. Like, I mean, like, I never fucked him. I said, like, just coming on me all the time. Like, in a heavy way. Ain't no right flirting because you think I'm just trying to go whatever. It's like, I'm gonna send you a picture of my date.
Oh wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's so disrespectful. And he married everything. Damn. And then they put you in a.
Yeah, and Bob, we can have better humor here. You need to step it up. Like the whole. It's not that funny because it's so easy to explain. But like, let's have fun with other ideas. And just get off this. I'm gonna have a shirt that says "All Lives Matter."
Well, I love everyone. I'm
Right.
not about you though.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I do. I love everyone. Like I love people.
So what's the
One
shirt?
or 20 people I dislike.
You have all life matters.
The type of guy who was somehow doing some he's somehow he's done sign those who are just bombarded with scientism, and he doesn't see anything except scientism, and he's thinking about
Assalamu alaikum.
he's criticizing he's just criticizing though anyone who criticizes evolution on the fact that those are going against science, those are refusing, those are rejecting the observations. Those people are just creationists. They know nothing. They're not doing proper science and all those stuff. That's why he didn't have the. I think that he wasn't strong enough and brave enough to talk with Sabur, in face to face, real talk. And this is a problem. This stereotyping. And so Bohr himself, he published a book and he said, I'm not rejecting natural selection. I'm not rejecting mutations. I'm not rejecting this. Criticizing is something that's more delicate and more fine than this. We're not rejecting the observations. We are rejecting something else. Okay, so you have to prove this other preposition that's mentioned to be a part of the evolutionary theory, and it's not supported by the same amount of evidence like the observed realities or the observed facts. You know the thing. Some people are dealing with scientific theories like an all or nothing law, and this is not true because if I said, do you accept physics? The word physics in itself, it's a set or a group of prepositions, and not all the prepositions enjoy the same epistemic stance or enjoy the same evidentiary support. So I'm here dealing with a certain preposition under the title called evolution. No one, whether even the dumbest creationists in the world, okay, they don't say we reject biology, we reject evolution, as well. I reject that there are mutations, I reject the DNA, the transcription, the translation, I reject the inheritance, I reject even the natural selection. No one said this, no one held this view. They are rejecting some special prepositions, okay, within the label, within the group.
This is the song that doesn't end. Yes, it goes on and on, my friends. They kicked me.
Way outside of my American let's Republicans don't run away.
This is the song that never ends. Yes, it goes on and on, my friends.
Just talk to us like a normal fucking person. You're in after hours. Nobody's in your fucking rooms anyway. What's going on, man? What did you do today?
Oh, I just trolled all day. It's been exhausting, and I ate a huge pizza. Whack ass hoe. Are you projecting, bitch?
Can I ask you, Republican, can I ask you some questions? I'm so curious about some things because you've been like at least, and I wanted to give props about it because like at least for like a month and a half or 2 months, the hallway is just littered with these like one person rooms with we're talking to nobody. So like I have so many questions. No, guys, no. Like how many phones do you have? How many YouTube accounts do you have? I have so many questions.
I've got I'm actively working with 15 YouTube, 15 Clown House, 15 X, 15 this and that, but I've got a whole bunch of phones behind me I have to get back to. But yeah, I mean, I create a ton of content. They call me a gutter scraper on this app. That's why I'm here right now talking to you gutter punks. I'm here to scrape the gunk out of the gutter. Yeah, Dr. Princess. You tell me. Tell me the truth, girl.
This is so fascinating.
Hang out long enough. You will get some content, Republican.
That's right. I got the content. It's called social capital surveillance. It's better than Bitcoin. It's better than the dollar. It's the best form of currency. It's called awareness of stupidity. That's what I call you.
Can I ask you, how are you leveraging AI today?
I create images on Grok, and then I use those images. No, I'm creating YouTube videos using AI images, reading strange esoteric text to hypnotize people.
So you're a loser.
I'm a loser who stays at home all day long creating content and filming stupid people like you and putting you on different platforms. That's what I do for a living now. I'm called a replatformist. It's a new career choice. I don't care if you consent. I don't need your consent, stupid. I'll just record you being stupid.
I guess smart. That is smart. Yeah, my question is more about like how are you leveraging AI agents, right, to go ahead and automate some of the promotion of some of these platforms that you're content you're creating.
I am not using AI agents. I am using Grok to create images. I hate you too, Dr. Princess, because you're stupid and you waste everyone's time with your stupidity. That's you, Dr. Princess. I'm talking to you, stupid.
Jeremy, it's okay if you don't give me Republicans. I have a question.
Even his mom's a little strong. You gotta respect that.
Princess hates that.
Especially in here, because I gotta wear a hoe out, you know.
Tuna, go ahead.
How many people would you say, like people from your real life that you know, end up having to screen your calls?
Oh, I'm actually in a very deep state of meditation. I don't actually call people anymore. I spam them, and if they block me and they don't want to have anything to do with me anymore, then that's a them problem, not a me problem.
So you tell she was pretty honest. Answer now, and don't stand up as well as you're trying to.
Listen, I don't bother people in my family.
Let's double click on that. So I'm sorry to interrupt, but can you just say that again? Because I think it's really important. Can you just say it again?
Yeah. So I don't think that your straw man arguments stand up just as well as your tranny dad does at the urinal.
My tranny dad at the urinal. Okay.
That tries to be funny.
Is that a projection? Is your dad trans?
No. Tuna is dark. You gotta understand his humor. This guy is really talented.
Anyways, I know what you guys do in here. You guys talk about nothing all day long, so I don't know what to tell you. I mean, Jeremy, how much longer are you going to talk about Bitcoin? I'm glad you made money from it, but I mean, it's not the all or nothing that you think it is.
Stop complaining.
Well, it's bringing up actually.
Yeah. What we were talking about was that I was siding with Tuna on the argument that I don't think should be a bad word. I don't think calling someone a pussy, like that's actually calling someone resilient, fucking a strong, fucking powerful muscle. Like it's calling someone a fucking.
Oh my God, Jeremy's such a feminist.
Like you call someone a fucking like limp dick, you know, or call someone like a fucking console. What the fuck?
You failed erection.
Well,
to be fair, flopper is far more offensive than being called a cunt.
Only place that it matters is in the workplace environment. If somebody calls you a cunt, if somebody calls you a cunt,
A flopper is crazy.
No, I'll take flopper over cunt. Still, cunt is bad, bro. You can't change what it is. This is
like how offensive is that? Like, yeah, no, you tried to get I feel but yeah, no, it's like post pick 4 o'clock in the morning. That shit will be an hour to cover.
Why is it like you do okay? Which is some white guy's invention on how to get a UTI for a problem that doesn't need a solution. But you're gonna say cunt is a bad word? Like let's lift that shit up.
No, it's the lesser of the two evils. You know, cunt is still gonna always be reserved as
A dirty, nasty. It's like calling somebody a dash. Have you ever watched
Why the self-hate
like the nuclear option of slavery.
The self-hate, first of all, Jeremy, understand something. Everybody don't have no cunt, okay? That's not, everybody don't have that. Everybody has a vagina doesn't have a cunt.
Right, and it has to be the lowest of the low. It has to be a word that meets all
It's
of the
the
words.
bottom of the barrel vagina. It's part of the, nobody wants.
Princess is up here doing the Chris Rock like N-word. There are like you're literally doing that for the word cunt. Like all I'm saying is it doesn't matter what language or what expression you use, it can be used in a really friendly way. And again, I go back to New Zealand. You go to New Zealand and it's like, hey, what's up, cunt?
It's a gross word. It's just like how we see gross. Like I don't want anybody saying the N-word. Even if I'm saying what up my nigga, he's like, oh, I don't like the word. It's the same thing. Like,
yes. Oh, thank you. It's exactly that. It's a white man telling black people.
No, the vagina is the cradle of creation. Think about that in a defiled state. It's lower than that, bro. That's like a baby sitting next to shitty ass bathwater, bro. Like it's just crazy.
no, like okay, let me explain it to you, right? Have you ever seen that movie? Yeah, what's that movie where Matthew McConaughey got AIDS? Dallas Cap.
Philadelphia.
What's it called? Didn't he have AIDS a couple times? Dallas Cap. What's it called? The Dallas. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Philadelphia.
No, it's let me.
Cocaine Cowboy.
Matthew
Dallas Flyers Club.
McConaughey.
okay.
Avatar.
Make it better.
Yeah.
Raise your
Dallas
search history this evening.
Well, this is always a fascinating conversation in the Talking Apes.
When he was fucking the girl trying to figure out like how did I get AIDS because ignorant ass, slow ass Southern white man at the time thought you could only get AIDS.
This is such a fascinating conversation as always. Really, Jeremy, top-notch conversations, top-notch content. Thank you all very little. Wow, impressive.
That's organic.
Listen. So in that scene where he was constantly, he was like, "What the fuck happened?" And he went back to that moment where he was fucking that girl that had track marks and needles sticking out of her arm raw. That's a cut. That coochie there is a cut.
Let's go after him first. This is horrible. You know what this is? And again, like
I'm just trying to explain to you what's the difference, right? If she has a cut, Beyonce has a vagina.
See, and it's semantics. It's just semantics, right? Like, the role by any other name.
no, Jeremy, there's a pronounced difference visually, all the senses, all your senses.
Take my phone, they have broke.
Beef lips, cuts. Coochies with neat tucked lips. What's
No,
that?
don't you dare vilify.
Dr. Sasha has something to say.
And vilify the beautiful flower that is a woman. That is a beautiful woman's cunt. Because of the length of her curve. You're not going to do that. You're not going to do that. Oh, don't you fucking put that like no curve thing on your woman.
Is it a coincidence that the guy
That's fabulous.
Is it a coincidence? Oh my god.
Look at
Kimchi. Is it a coincidence? I'm just saying. Kimchi.
Yo,
And I guess all I'm trying to say, guys,
eat your probiotics for good coochie health.
yeah, don't use.
Go to the gym, take a shower, wash your pussy, ladies. Use some soap on those pussies. A lot of people say don't use soap on your pussy or your cunt. I say use a lot of soap on that pussy cunt. Go inside the cunt, scrub the cunt, wash the cunt. Don't worry about ruining your flavor.
Guys, this is a serious conversation we're having, right? Or maybe not. But hold on. But this like stop it.
Wash your cunts with soap, ladies. It's not a biopermaculture factory. It needs to be cleaned, and soap cleans things because the molecules. If you ever take a chemistry class, they teach you about saponification and how soap actually works. You could talk to your average talking ape and ask them how soap actually chemically works. Most of them won't be able to explain that to you. Thus, they're not washing their cunts with soap.
I'm still working on washing my legs, and they do stink a little bit. Sorry, what's that?
You can call me in my name on my profile here. It's Republicans. Can you read?
It's too much effort to do that,
Oh, I am sorry, TASD2. Please continue.
Oh, that's the stuff I'm saying.
Yeah, it's just, we're trying.
Just kick me and free me from your stupidity, please.
How dare you?
Please free him. Release him.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Republicans, I'm amazed that someone gave birth to you and didn't strangle you immediately after meeting.
Stop projecting.
No, but let's bring it back. Like, Republicans have a beautiful, wonderful, powerful cunt.
Now, miss me? Let me tell you, I got chased down by the agents, gang. I like to, oh God, fool. Because of my
Agents?
Oh, man,
Agents are cunts.
Hey, the whole agent was big. If you had one day, they were big fat agents chasing you one day.
Welcome back to another episode of Low IQ Dumb People talking about nothing, wasting all their time on a beautiful Sunday night.
Mr. Projecting.
You are projecting about projecting.
Yeah, just to bring it back around. No, it's all good. It's all good.
He's a hero. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. No, it's good. We build bridges. So,
I'm sorry.
no, it's all
We build bridges and hopefully Republicans will find it and jump off of it.
So I think, like,
Is that you, Jesus? No, it's Ron. Somebody spell my other,
Have you ever? I mean, what did you show me that Schopenhauer Fool's Journey thing?
What are you doing in here, Jesus? They did that.
What was that?
Yeah. What do you think of it? The Schopenhauer's Fool thing.
I didn't actually watch it. You want to listen to some of it right now?
It's dude, like it is. I think they use AI to produce it, but it's profound. It's a great 20-minute like. It's content for me. Yeah, let's listen to it. This will be the third time I've heard it.
Okay.
But it's great.
I think this
It's
is
basically about avarice and about
Because intelligence shown too brightly becomes arrogance
such a corollary
in the
to
eye.
Clubhouse. Let's listen to it together.
Is it Schopenhauer reveals the art of pretending to be stupid?
Here, let me find it, and I'll drop it.
All right, just pin it to the room and then.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's really good to listen to, dude. It's very humbling, but it's also, I mean, for me,
For
it's
the
like something
average, correction becomes humiliation. Insight becomes intimidation. The problem isn't your mind, it's the mirror it holds up to others. The one they'd rather shatter than look into. That's why the most powerful people rarely flaunt their intellect. They never need to. Instead, they learn the subtler game. Hide your capacity. Let others underestimate you. Let them speak first. Let them believe they're in control.
Is this it?
Because when you are perceived as harmless, no one resists you. And when no one resists you, you move freely.
Oh, the psychology. I found it. Psychology of the Fool.
I just won $60,000 from my car crash from this app.
She won 60,000 from a car crash.
It's also called the Fool's Journey. In the 18th century, the occult practice of cartomancy started to rise to prominence, and mystics referred to the 78 cards as arcana, the first 22 being the main arcana, and the remaining 56.
Did you find it or no?
Yeah, sorry, I got network problems.
Leading or influencing others. This idea resonates with the famous saying of Sun Tzu in The Art of War. All warfare is based on deception. When we are...
Yeah. I think maybe this is not.
Imagine, but in guiding others to stumble upon the truth themselves. Influence doesn't work, plants a seed, and steps back.
Sorry for the fucking delay or whatever.
Yeah.
Boomer. Not a boomer, but...
I would have watched it, but I like interactive, real-time learning. I like learning with other people. I don't want to just like learn by myself. It's boring.
Yeah, sure. Makes sense, right? Fucking hell. I feel like a retard, man. Maybe I'm a boomer. How do I send this?
Just put it in the chat or pin it to the room.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Okay, I just can't find the send button. Here we go. There we go. It's there. Sorry about that. That was like, I got a retard.
Okay, now I have to.
That's why I have kids. That's why I have kids.
I have to figure out.
They will. They'll help you.
They will replace your brain eventually.
Well, they'll help you, yeah, but just trust them.
Yeah, raise them with kindness. Otherwise, they may kill you.
I would. Yeah, I'm so much of a masochist. Like I would enjoy that. But like I already outsource a lot of my thinking to my 10-year-old son. It's really crazy. He's like he's my new data storage device. Because like I don't have to pay attention to stuff. I'm like, Sanderson, where did I put this? Or what like why did this happen? And he'll just be like, because his brain is so burgeoning. He just he's right about so much stuff, and that's a weird biological layer. I don't know if you're into evolutionary biology, but I find it fascinating.
Yeah, it's interesting.
But it's like it's a whole layer of like that I found myself engaging in, just outsourcing my brain to like my kin.
Mm.
It's strange, right?
Well, it's smart. I mean, it's fuck, man. I bet you're describing technically computer systems before computer systems, meaning that parents that had a lot of kids were always essentially doing data storage with their children.
Well, it's a symbiosis more
Yeah.
than anything. So it's like what are you good at and what am I good at? Maybe daddy's good at wisdom and mom's good at temperance and kids are good at like strength or something. And it's like if we're all symbiotic, like in a unit, like how do we leverage other people's competencies? And how does that play out? I'm just fascinated by it. I don't mean to make it sound cheesy or cliche, but I'm super fascinated by it. Like I love that, and I see myself doing it. And
I saw a
it's
meme.
it's a very natural thing.
I saw a meme today about foxes, and it says that when a male fox pairs with a female fox, if the male dies, the female will have a new partner within 24 hours. If the female dies, the male will not take a new partner.
Crazy.
So just know that the love of your life that you have kids with, if you die in 24 hours, she's already got somebody lined up. Just FYI.
As it should be.
Just don't feel bad. Okay, let's play this Arthur Schopenhauer.
As it should be.
No, I mean it's evolutionary biology. It's the rough facts about nature that nobody really likes to explore because it's so brutal. Nature is so brutal. It's heartless.
Imagine you're the smartest person in the room, and that's exactly why everyone turns
Okay,
against you.
let's pause it.
You offer a brilliant solution.
It's 22 minutes, so let's pause it at. We'll do 3 pauses. We'll pause at 7 minutes.
Expecting applause, but instead you're met with icy stares or forced smiles. Ever felt the sting of being punished for your intelligence? It's a twisted paradox. In a world drowning in folly, sometimes the wisest move is to play the fool. Why would anyone act stupid in a stupid world? What hidden power lies in playing dumb when you know you're right? These questions strike at the heart of a profound insight, one that the philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer understood all too well. Schopenhauer was no stranger to feeling isolated by intellect. Brilliant yet bitter, he watched as mediocrity won accolades while genius was ignored. He asked a bold question. What if being smart is a liability in a world ruled by stupidity? His answer was as shocking as it is insightful. Sometimes the only way to survive in an irrational society is to wear the mask of irrationality yourself. In other words, play dumb. This Echoes of Wisdom episode dives deep into Schopenhauer's philosophy to explore the strategic value of acting stupid in a stupid world. Stay with us, because what sounds like surrender might actually be secret power. From our first days in school, we're taught that being smart is good. Answer correctly, get a gold star. But step into the real world, and a darker truth emerges, showing superior intelligence can spark anger and envy. Schopenhauer saw this clearly in human nature. He wrote that, with the immense majority of people exhibiting intelligence and discernment, excite hatred and resentment, think about that. Your intelligence, which should be an asset, can mark you as a target. It's lonely at the top, especially when others secretly want to knock you down. Why does this happen? Schopenhauer explains that when someone less capable senses your brilliance, it's as if you've unintentionally insulted them just by being yourself. To show your intelligence is an indirect way of reproaching others for being dull, he says. In that moment, the other person imagines you must be judging them from on high. Their vanity is pricked. Since there is nothing of which a man is prouder than of intellectual ability, seeing yours shine painfully reminds them of their own limitations. The result? Bitterness stews beneath polite facades, Schopenhauer warns. It is an exceedingly rash thing to let anyone see that you are decidedly superior intellectually, because he will then thirst for vengeance. In other words, the moment someone feels outshone by your mind, they quietly plot to bring you down. Picture a gifted student in a classroom of average kids. She knows the answers, corrects mistakes, and aces tests. At first, teachers praise her, but her classmates, they roll their eyes, whispers start. She thinks she's so smart. Recess turns cold. She's left out of games. Eventually, she pretends not to know answers, hiding her talent just to fit in. Intelligence, instead of making her popular, painted a bullseye on her back. This isn't just childhood politics. It's a reflection of a broader social truth that Schopenhauer boldly articulated. He learned it the hard way in his own life. At 19, Arthur's brilliance had already turned abrasive. His mother, Johanna, wrote him a scathing letter, calling out how his know-it-all behavior alienated everyone. Your extreme intelligence casts a dark cloud over your good characteristics. You criticize everything and everyone, so it is not surprising that you become alienated. Nobody enjoys being corrected, most certainly not by such an insignificant little man as you. Ouch. The young philosopher was being told, your smartness isn't charming, it's overwhelming. This personal slap in the face would echo in Schopenhauer's later philosophy. It unveiled a painful reality. Being openly clever often backfires, obscuring your kindness and isolating you socially. Schopenhauer took this lesson to heart. He observed that great intellect can become a crime in the eyes of the masses, a crime of standing above them, one they will not forgive. While rank and riches may always reckon upon deferential treatment in society, he notes, that is something which intellectual ability can never expect. To be ignored is the greatest favor shown to it. Society might respect money or status, but a keen mind. At best, it's tolerated. At worst, it's resented as arrogance or impertinence. The wise often walk alone, not by choice, but because the crowd flees from them. As Schopenhauer puts it, mental superiority of any sort always tends to isolate its possessor. People run away from him out of pure hatred. The intellectually gifted become lonely exiles, punished for the very gifts that could benefit everyone. So, what is a person of intellect to do in a stupid world? Suffer in isolation? Argue endlessly, trying to enlighten those who don't want to be enlightened? Schopenhauer offers a radically counterintuitive tactic. Play dumb. If the world refuses to reward wisdom, then don't advertise it. Hide your sharp mind behind a friendly, unthreatening mask. In Schopenhauer's own words, the only way to win affection from people is to show the most animal-like simplicity of demeanor. This advice is startling. Be as simple as a beast to be liked. He doesn't literally mean become stupid, but rather project simplicity, the way an experienced actor might play a role. Why would being underestimated ever be a good thing? Because it disarms the envy and hostility of others. No one feels threatened by a fool. Once you don the jester's cap, people relax. They stop bristling defensively and might even let you in. Schopenhauer observed that it is a real recommendation to be stupid in society. It sounds almost sarcastic, but he's dead serious. When others see inferiority, it soothes their vanity. If a man is to be liked, he must really be inferior in point of intellect, Schopenhauer writes bluntly. Think of it like lowering your head to avoid the swinging club of someone's ego. They won't take a swing if they don't see you as a target. This idea isn't just Schopenhauer's. History and literature are full of wise fools. In many a king's court, the jester, the fool, was the only one who could speak truth to power, cloaking wisdom in humor. Consider the ancient strategy of feigned madness. The Bible tells of King David pretending to be insane to escape a hostile ruler. Shakespeare's Hamlet puts on an antic disposition, acting crazy to hide his very sane plans.
Yeah, Sasha, this is basically what I've been doing for quite a while in my life now.
Across cultures, strategy.
By the way, I fucked up the link. That was not the correct one. I dropped the correct one in the chat because I messed up. I'm sorry. Just play the second one. It's way better.
Okay. Hold on, let me find it.
I shared this one that we're gonna listen to. It's fluid. You can share it with other people, friends that you have. And the response is always positive. Like people like it, like this, the idea, the information. It's really nice how it delineates the avarice of worshiping your own intellect.
Mhm.
It's really humbling. It's quite good. I only have low dumb IQ clubhouse people to share this with. It's nice to have other.
You know your skin is the largest organ of your body. The lightweight moisturization of Old Spice lotion is like treating your skin. The most.
If I share anything with my father, he just texts me back. He's like, I don't understand. Like, what are you looking for?
Intelligent people in history rarely were the happiest, and the geniuses who dominated their eras frequently ended their days in absolute solitude. This is not a coincidence, but a revealing pattern that hides one of the greatest secrets ever told about the functioning of the human mind. Those who insist on displaying their intellectual superiority are, ironically, demonstrating their deepest misunderstanding of social mechanics. In the 19th century, while Europe was intoxicated with the promises of reason and scientific progress, a philosopher with an acidic temperament and intractable personality formulated one of the most subversive theories about human intelligence. Arthur Schopenhauer, marginalized by academia and ignored by his contemporaries, perceived something that fundamentally contradicts our contemporary obsession with appearing clever. True intellectual power lies in knowing when to pretend not to have it. Intelligence is invisible to those who do not possess it, wrote Schopenhauer. But what few perceive in this philosopher's work is his most disturbing conclusion. Intelligence also becomes an unbearable burden for those who do not know when to conceal it. The contrast between the human warmth of vulnerability and the cutting coldness of intellectual display was masterfully captured in the Schopenhauerian metaphor of human warmth, which suggests that people instinctively approach those who do not represent an intellectual threat, just as bodies seek heat on cold days. This perspective not only challenges our conventional understanding of intelligence, but completely subverts the modern notion that we must constantly prove our intellectual worth. Contemporary society has built a cult of intellect that has transformed knowledge, not into a tool of liberation, but into an instrument of psychological imprisonment. Observe how in social networks, universities, and corporate environments, a silent and incessant competition for the demonstration of cognitive superiority prevails. This invisible arena does not produce winners, only slaves of approval that never satisfies. Schopenhauer identified this social pathology centuries before its digital manifestation. What others think of me is not simply
Hi, Chris.
but should not even exist in my consciousness if I want to live fully, he declared.
Link is in the
directly
chat.
confronting what has now become a psychic epidemic, dependence on external intellectual validation. Contemporary data confirms this philosophical intuition. A Harvard University study revealed that 78% of highly qualified professionals experience imposter syndrome, the constant fear of being discovered as intellectually inadequate. Another study from Stanford University demonstrated a direct correlation between pressure for constant demonstration of knowledge and elevated levels of cortisol, the stress hormone. What few dare to question is, what after all is the purpose of so much ostentatious cleverness? Psychologist Carol Dweck, a Stanford researcher, observes a disturbing phenomenon. Individuals obsessed with proving their intelligence ironically limit their cognitive development, as they avoid situations where they might fail or appear ignorant.
Kind of like
Exactly the contexts that promote deep learning. Her research reveals that the obsessive concern with the image of being an intelligent person sabotages precisely what it intends to preserve: genuine intellectual capacity. Schopenhauer's conceptual archaeology unearths an uncomfortable truth. The opinion of others has built a mental panopticon where we live under constant surveillance, fearing to appear foolish, limited, or...
This is funny because I'm like constantly surveilling stupid people.
Anyway, Chad, don't be doing that dick sucking shit in front of people, you know, bitch. But yeah, I moved to the mountains though, gang, because what? The air around so when you first come out, your ears gonna pop a lot. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be harder for you to breathe. So you gotta definitely know how to, you know what I'm saying, survive out.
Welcome back to another episode of Low IQ Dumb People on a perfectly good Sunday night, wasting all their time talking about nothing.
After like a year or two on the West Coast, though, your lungs get way stronger, bro.
Informed. This invisible prison consumes mental energy that could be directed toward authentic creativity and independent thinking. The German philosopher directly confronts the contemporary zeitgeist when he states that human freedom is severely impaired when one lives under the shadow of others' judgment. In this declaration lies one of the most profound subversions of Western thought. What if the unbridled pursuit of intellectual validation is not a sign of cognitive development, but a symptom of profound existential insecurity? We are faced with a rarely discussed paradox. The more we try to appear intelligent, the less mental space we possess to effectively think. The obsession with the approval of others not only corrupts the original purpose of knowledge, the search for truth, but transforms the intellect into an empty performance, destined for applause that never fills the inner void of those who seek it. Behind the most influential philosophical theories often hide personal traumas never revealed to the public.
I don't know. How do you think you accomplished this, Dr. Sasha? Because I have my methods.
What are you digging the what we're listening to?
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, it's all good things. You know, it makes sense.
I think AI wrote it. It's dated.
Chris, you're dated.
I know.
In Schopenhauer's case, a private family document exposes the psychological origin of his philosophy of disguised intelligence. A letter sent by his own mother when he was only 19 years old contained a devastating critique that few philosophy historians have had the courage to analyze deeply. Johanna Schopenhauer, an influential socialite and writer who maintained one of Germany's most prestigious literary salons, wrote to her son, "Your intelligence, which should be a gift, has become a curse that drives away everyone around you. Even the most brilliant minds flee from your company not out of envy, as you imagine, but because of the unbearable discomfort of your constant need to demonstrate superiority." This historical document, preserved in the archives of the University of Göttingen, reveals something far beyond a simple family friction. It represents the archetypal confrontation between the pure intellectual and a society that rejects not intelligence itself, but its arrogant expression. The relationship between Schopenhauer and his mother was notoriously tumultuous. After his father's death, a prosperous merchant from Danzig, Johanna quickly established herself as a central figure in German intellectuality, while young Arthur cultivated increasing isolation. The letter emerged precisely from this context, an emotionally maladjusted son being confronted by a mother deeply integrated into the social circles he despised. Biographer Rudiger Safransky reveals a little-known detail. After receiving his mother's letter, Schopenhauer entered a period of profound introspection that lasted months. His notes from this period show an obsessive concern with the social impact of his intelligence, something completely absent in his previous writings. What few realize is how this seemingly trivial episode transformed into the catalyst for one of the most provocative theories on social intelligence ever formulated. The maternal perception that his brilliance alienated people around him led the philosopher to a radical conclusion. The constant display of intellectual superiority was not a sign of strength, but of profound psychological weakness. What revelation could be more uncomfortable for a society obsessed with intellectual status than the realization that true genius lies not in dominating debates or displaying knowledge, but in knowing when to strategically retreat? This inversion of values, born of a deep family wound, would transform Schopenhauer into one of the most scathing critics of Western intellectual vanity. What do Socrates, Jesus Christ, and history's most influential leaders have in common? They all mastered a subversive technique that directly contradicts common sense about intelligence, the strategic art of playing the fool. This approach, far from being a sign of intellectual weakness, constitutes one of the most sophisticated tools of power ever developed by the human mind. When Schopenhauer wrote that feigning ignorance serves as a special lens through which one can evaluate how artificial social conventions are, he was not proposing a manipulation tactic, but revealing a defense mechanism
against the tyranny of others' egos. This perspective radically challenges our contemporary understanding of intellectual assertiveness. The Socratic method, frequently misinterpreted as a simple pedagogical tool, reveals its true nature when analyzed from this perspective. When Socrates proclaimed, "I know that I know nothing," while leading...
So the thing is, basically, by being a comedian or reframing everything as comedy, it protects you like legally, morally, but it exposes the other people as being stupid by being stupid yourself. You're doing the mirror.
It's also a tactic only people that are like chill can employ, like some people that aren't like all wrapped up in their own ego.
Yeah.
Like so to it's really safe too.
It's the safest way to be a subversive. Yeah.
But then you can also like you can reach people too, and it's I don't know, man. Like it's the way to be, you know. And there's no outward expression of anxiety and stuff, like because you can't be a proper clown if you're pushing all your shit onto other people. But most people try, you know, most people do that. They try it.
His interlocutors to inescapable logical contradictions. He was not practicing false modesty, but employing precisely what Schopenhauer would call strategic stupidity. Most men are so subjective that at bottom nothing interests them except themselves, observed Schopenhauer. This perception reveals why feigned ignorance works so effectively as a social tool. By reducing the perceived threat, one disarms the interlocutor's egoic defense, allowing uncomfortable truths to penetrate where direct arguments would be immediately rejected. In contemporary culture, Detective Columbo perfectly exemplifies this strategy. His apparent disorganization, naive questions, and constant hesitations constituted a carefully constructed mask that disguised a relentless analytical mind. The criminal, underestimating his interrogator, lowered his guard precisely when he should have raised it. Anthropologist Robert Cialdini, in his research on social influence, documents how professional negotiators frequently employ what he calls the strategic incompetence technique. By pretending not to fully understand the terms or implications, they provoke detailed explanations that reveal crucial information that would never be shared with someone perceived as intellectually threatening. This approach transcends trivial contexts. Studies conducted at the University of Michigan demonstrate that leaders who occasionally demonstrate intellectual vulnerability, admitting not knowing answers or asking for simple explanations, are perceived as significantly more trustworthy and effective than those who never demonstrate cognitive limitations. What today's society, obsessed with constant demonstrations of knowledge, fails to understand is the profound difference between genuine stupidity.
Taxes was feeling so stuck. Now Taxes is having a TurboTax expert.
Don't forget to do your taxes, everybody!
And strategic stupidity. The first results from real cognitive limitations. The second, paradoxically, from a superior understanding of human psychology. The authentic fool suffers from his ignorance. The strategic fool conquers precisely by appearing to have it, observed Schopenhauer. Anticipating by centuries the discoveries of modern social psychology about ego defense mechanisms and resistance to persuasion. The truth, uncomfortable for a culture that idolizes intellectual performance, is that the constant demonstration of intelligence often sabotages what it intends to achieve: genuine influence and human connection. In Schopenhauer's social chess, whoever insists on showing every brilliant move inevitably loses the most important match. The most influential corporations on the planet are not led by the most intelligent, but by those most skilled at manipulating the perception of their own intelligence. This subversive reality, which directly contradicts the dominant meritocratic discourse, is revealed with each deeper analysis of institutional power dynamics in the 21st century. Warren Buffett, the third richest man in the world, consciously employs what Wall Street analysts call the Nebraska strategy, a deliberate projection of provincial simplicity that masks one of history's sharpest financial minds. I prefer to appear a simple country bumpkin and earn billions than to impress intellectuals and lose millions, he declared in a rarely cited interview with the Financial Times. The phenomenon transcends the corporate universe. In contemporary politics, leaders who master the art of simple communication frequently outperform intellectually superior adversaries. A study conducted by Princeton University revealed that candidates who excessively simplify complex issues are perceived as more authentic and trustworthy by 67% of voters, regardless of the factual accuracy of their statements. Organizational psychologist Laura De Lozana, a Stanford researcher, documents how meetings dominated by intellectual showmanship produce 41% fewer innovative ideas than those where there is deliberate restraint of expertise. The psychological safety necessary for collective innovation is systematically destroyed by the individual need to demonstrate cognitive superiority, she concludes in a study published in the Harvard Business Review. What Schopenhauer perceived 2 centuries before modern behavioral science is that excess intellectual brilliance not only threatens others, it harms the very individual who displays it. Each unnecessary demonstration of knowledge represents not only a lost opportunity to learn, but also a brick added to the invisible wall that separates the genius from genuine human connections. Strategic stupidity manifests with particular effectiveness in high-risk negotiations. International conflict resolution experts report how negotiators who occasionally do not understand complex proposals frequently obtain significant concessions, while their opponents, eager to demonstrate superiority, prematurely reveal crucial information. The psychological cost of always trying to appear the smartest person in the room is rarely openly discussed. Neuroscientific studies from the University of California demonstrate sustained activation of the amygdala, a brain region associated with stress in individuals compelled to maintain constant intellectual performance in social environments. In contrast, those who practice what researchers call situational cognitive humility show significantly greater activation in the prefrontal cortex, an area associated with creative thinking and complex decision-making. The question rarely asked, but essential to understanding Schopenhauerian dynamics in the 21st century is, how much of our creative and relational potential do we sacrifice on the altar of intellectual vanity? The disturbing answer for a society obsessed with academic credentials and public demonstrations of knowledge perhaps explains why so many recognized geniuses live lives of profound loneliness and existential dissatisfaction. History's most isolated geniuses died alone, while mentors of average intelligence built empires of influence across generations. This recurring pattern hides a neurological truth that modern science has only begun to understand. The human brain is programmed to connect not with intellectual perfection, but with authentic vulnerability. People approach those who do not threaten them intellectually in the same way they seek warmth on a cold day, wrote Schopenhauer in one of his most revealing metaphors. What contemporary neuroscience confirms is the biological foundation of this intuition. The limbic system, responsible for forming emotional bonds, activates significantly more in the presence of perceived vulnerability than in the face of intimidating excellence. Studies conducted by neuroscientist Matthew Lieberman reveal that the brain processes social rejection in the same region that processes physical pain. The threat of intellectual inferiority, activated when someone systematically demonstrates cognitive superiority, triggers the same neural circuits associated with threats to physical survival. In light of this neurobiological evidence.
So this is essentially what happened to Camelo or whatever, and he stabbed that kid in the heart. He's like, "You made fun of me! You're gonna kill me! I'm gonna kill you!"
The cultural insistence on flaunting knowledge appears not only socially ineffective, but biologically counterproductive. The most innovative educational institutions on the planet have already incorporated this counterintuitive perspective. MIT revolutionized its curriculum by implementing what they call learning through vulnerability, a system where teachers deliberately demonstrate cognitive limitations to create environments where students feel safe to take risks and fail. Preliminary results show a 43% increase in creative problem solving compared to the traditional model based on uncontestable intellectual authority. The paradox of expertise is that the more you know, the more you realize how much you don't know, observes organizational psychologist Edgar Schein. This observation reveals the fundamental contradiction at the heart of intellectual.
So Sasha, one of these days, I have like multiple hypnosis records, and some of them are like so laughable, but they're actually still really valuable because they're direct hypnosis records of like people who actually like put out a product about how to hypnotize yourself. Huh?
I can't be hypnotized. Yeah, hypnotize me more. I want something that's gonna make me a good person. Like, all kinds of.
It's not. That's not what it's about.
Like,
It's not about. It's not about reprogramming you. It's actually about relaxing you. That's all it's actually
no,
all
I
about.
want to be reprogrammed.
No, all it can actually do is relax you so you can make better decisions. But you can't actually be reprogrammed. All it does is just induces, yeah. It changes your brainwave states.
Be hijacked for an hour or two.
It changes your brainwave states and it distracts you, but it relaxes you. That's the whole point. And then when you emerge from the deep relaxation hypnosis, you go do what you got to do because your brain is no longer thinking about a million things.
That sounds really nice.
That's what it's for. It's to help you get your shit done. Because there's so much chatter out there.
Putting my brain's not thinking about it. Have you guys ever tried the imagining dive reflex?
What?
Get a bucket from Home Depot, like a big bucket, like a 5-gallon bucket or larger.
Shit on it.
And then if you have ice facilities, if you have got a refrigerator that you can put a bunch of ice in, make a bunch of ice, put it in there, fill the most cold water as possible, stick your head in it, upside down, open your eyes, get all the water in all the freezing cold water in your nostrils. Fucking, I don't know, it's very special. And it's like a hack.
Yeah.
To get you into that very relaxed state that you were talking about.
Yeah. It's like icing your brain.
It's a biophysiological hack, yeah. But it's not icing the brain, whatever. We're pretty robust. It causes something. There's like, I don't know what it is, but it feels so good after. And you sit down on the couch or you just go to bed and you'll be like, it's like heroin. I've never taken heroin, but I would imagine it's like the effect whenever I do dunk my head in ice water and try and
People do the cold plunges.
Hold my breath for as long as possible. Yeah, the effects are undeniable, and they're real.
What is what's the Wim Hof method called? What is that? It causes ketosis, right?
Well, he does the breathing thing. I don't know about that, but he likes to go out in the cold.
Yeah, the whole thing. Like if you ice, certain parts of your body starts sending more blood to that area. So what you're doing is like you're reducing inflammation, and a lot of people I think do have brain swelling. And if you do a cold bucket, head dunk, like it's the same belief that if you have swelling, you should ice it.
Apparently, your spleen releases a bunch of white blood cells, or maybe hemoglobin. I don't know. I think it was described by one of my OG clubhouse nerd friends. That's how he described it, and I don't know if that's like.
It's got to be true because your brain produces so many chemicals. When you go to the gym and you do a squat or you do a bench press, like your brain is producing tremendous amounts of chemicals being excreted real time as you're pushing.
Yeah, all the neurotransmitters and everything, all the linkages between the mitochondria and the axons and everything in your brain and throughout your body. Yeah.
But the thing is, to me, is like you can hack your brain by hacking your body, but the other thing is reading books. If you want to really program yourself, put external programs in your brain, and you'll change who you are.
I wish I was better at reading. I stopped reading in my
You're,
early
you're
20s.
the number one excuse is you're lazy. That's it. Is you're lazy. There's no other real good explanation. See, the thing is, you have to make it an experience. Like when I read, I do performative reading.
But like I don't. You might not understand me properly, Edmund. John.
Just record. You have to turn books into different platforms now.
I can actually read 5 pages and not like it doesn't go into my head.
I get it, but that's the thing is it's actually there. You can't actually access it, but it is there subconsciously. So the thing is I create records of what I'm reading. So I'll go on YouTube across 15 different phones and do 1 minute clips and I'll read for 15 minutes.
You got 15 phones?
Yeah. I'll create 15 different clips.
You were born in China with like the fucking stands.
I know.
iPhones and everything.
I know.
That's cool.
But what I'm trying to tell you is there is a way to offload the inability to comprehend because you're thinking about too many things even while you're reading. Like I will read things and I'll have absolutely no idea what I just read, but I will have read it perfectly and I'll have it in a 1 minute clip on YouTube and then I'll go back and listen to it for comprehension because I was thinking about something else as I was making the recording.
Whoa.
You can also read to your subconscious if you just let the words of the book let your eyes pass over the words of the book. Even if you're not reading, your subconscious will be reading it, and it will have an impact.
The problem is when you look at a glossary, there's so many connecting words and so many new words as you're actually reading, especially when they start pulling in other languages, that you do kind of have, huh?
Well, grab a dictionary, grab a grammar book of all kinds of different languages and dictionaries in those languages, and then just do the same thing. Just let your body read it rather than.
I know, but what we're trying to do is to optimize time, integration, and comprehension. So it's easy to think that you're subconsciously absorbing it, but when you're really reading it and you're actually comprehending it real time, plus you're keeping a record of it, it changes your whole personality. But again, it's all essentially a relaxation hypnosis. Every book is the same stupid book. It's all just, if it's a good book, it's really just all about bringing you to a state of relaxation. That's it. Zen. It brings you to a state of Zen, yeah, or Nirvana.
Do you know the whole the concept of flow?
Yeah, it brings you into flow state.
Yeah, flow is like that. Doing that is great. If anybody can get there. I don't know what you guys do, but like for me, so video games are which I've cut out of my life almost completely.
Almost.
Because I was, whatever.
Yeah, you're wasting your life.
That was the fastest, easiest way for flow for me.
But see, flow state. See, there's different. It's not.
Cooking, because I'm a good chef or whatever. Home cook. Cooking is like the next best.
I hear that a lot.
And building is really good. Working physically, these are all like where you just get out of yourself and you exist.
Yeah.
Like as you're meant to exist. And then so I don't know what the other hacks are. I'm sure there's like more fundamental work to do because then I could just access it more readily if I did the real work on my spirit and everything, and I'll get there. Yeah.
Anyways, if I had an MK Ultra camp, like fat camp, where people would willingly come to my facility to be brainwashed, I am 100% sure that I could develop a curriculum for complete and total brainwashing.
It should be me.
And my participants would be so happy because they'd be like, "Wow, like this is." They would leave there totally reconditioned, reprogrammed, and so happy because they would be taking with them an actual methodology to continue doing it.
Yeah, and but the thing is, though, you have like you owe them, the power that you were given with the charisma, and if you're like a energetic, attractive person, and you look in the eye and stuff, you can get people to do anything.
It's not about getting people to do anything. It's basically teaching people meditation. That's all it is.
Doge, that's the danger.
No, it's not. There's no danger. The thing is, you have to. So Snowflake Peanut Butter says this is not the real Sasha. You're fake.
There's no danger. I'm too ugly. So okay. Well, Snowflake, I don't. This is not the real Sasha. Well, there's another Sasha that talks like, my name is Sasha. Everyone calls me her.
Are you serious?
And I talk in the religious rooms. Yeah. And I don't know. That's another Sasha.
But another way to describe this MK Ultra stuff is essentially Gnosticism or Gnosis, which is you can chant yourself into a deep state of relaxation. So the thing is, it doesn't really even take drugs or alcohol, but I think they help actually. Yeah. That's what I thought. What is it? How's it go?
You might be right. You could fucking chant yourself right into like a Wall Street.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
But anyways, this is all just meditation work. So this is why I say at the end of every conversation, it ultimately becomes a conversation about meditation, which is going within and knowing where you came from, or basically stop thinking, end your problems. Meaning that when you go beyond words and sounds, you get to this blessed state of silence and equilibrium, which is essentially the riddle of the Sphinx, or really the real you, which is not a word or a sound. And once you can get to that awareness, it's like riding a bicycle. You always carry it with you. You never get disequilibrated, and you're always going to meet people that want to gas up and gaslight and waste your time and be stupid and fat and annoying because they haven't figured out the silence secret. And so, but if you practice it enough, everywhere you go, it's like being in nirvana.
It took me a long time.
Yeah, and it's easy to forget it. It takes like daily renewals.
Women have it easier than guys, for sure.
Yeah, women are very close to it.
It's
They're truly the alpha predators in
big
society.
connection between females and males, actually. But taking a breath and sitting back and just chill.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. It took me forever, but maybe I'm thinking it's also like a function of biology too, right? Like if you're a guy and you're middle aged and you have children, you're fucking like your testosterone is like it's not coursing through your veins that you want to like hump the bedpost every morning. You know what I mean? So it's also easier in that regard. But to take a break and to chill out. I don't know if it's necessarily a thing about practice though.
I think it's a daily. No, I think you have to put yourself back into the brainwave state daily to essentially, if you want to get back to the source. And a lot of women, they are very big into meditation, but they don't even consciously know they're meditating. But the other thing is, if a woman is taken from a man or created out of a man, that means they're degraded. And maybe they're closer to the source because they're stupider or dumber or more foolish. So, women have it easy because they're not the original model. They're actually the downgrade model of a man. However,
fucking rip. It's like a fucking rip.
yeah, I mean, in every woman, there is a man trying to get out, or hidden or trapped. I mean, they came from us.
You know what I hate? I hate fucking dual income. I hate dual income. It ruined the West. It ruined the world.
It's so easy to say that, but truth is, it's just more of the same problem, which is thinking and opinion making. So, if you can meet a woman,
I don't know. I don't know. I'm more of the school of thought now, like that. Like it's good to be slaved to things, and like biology is a great thing to be slaved to. And having like, hey, guess what? You gotta wake up at 9 or at 7 every morning. You gotta make breakfast. You gotta go. You gotta go be productive.
Mhm.
Like those strictures, I think are like quite healthy. As long as they don't get, fucking tyrannical.
well, it's all cultural conditioning because you don't live in a village in India where when you're tired, you go to sleep. When you're hungry, you eat, and when you go to shit, you shit. I mean, people will sit at their workstations at work for 3 hours past the time their body says, "Hey, you got to take a shit." They'll just sit there and keep working, even though they know in the back of their head you've got a massive turd building in your colon, and it's turtle heading.
This is an Indian factory farm. I think you're talking about.
I'm not saying it's going to be a great life, like you got a working shower and a toilet, but I'm just saying that it's more lax. I don't know.
That is a good life if you have a working shower and a toilet.
It's a great life. A lot of people don't have electricity. I mean, you know how many people in this
I know,
world don't
man.
have electricity?
I know. A lot of people fucking getting sick and dying of like cooking food indoors.
Do you know how many people died this week of food poisoning? Do you know how many people this week died, getting in an Uber and going somewhere? I mean, it's just.
How many people in the West didn't use their fucking brain even though they had supply it with an adequate amount of glucose?
Yeah. Well, we're living. It's essentially. People are technically screens now. They themselves are the mirror image in the palm of their hand. They are the phone.
Hey, do you know what I did? You know what I did with my kids? Actually, me and my wife did it. Listen, I just want to brag. I'm sorry. Grant me the indulgence. Um, my wife was like, right, because we heard it from one of our friends. My wife was like,
Display. Those who insist on demonstrating absolute mastery.
Oh yeah, let's go. Let's see. Took my kids 2 days to adjust to it. Yeah, there's no screen. There's no screens during the week.
Invariably revealed their superficial understanding of the very nature of knowledge.
Me and mom, whatever. Me and my wife, I got Clubhouse right now. But the kids, they don't even fucking miss it. They don't watch it.
It's not. It still creates dopamine, so it's always going to be there. The thing is, how do you productively use screens?
Social neuroscience has documented a rarely discussed phenomenon: vulnerability resonance. When an individual admits not knowing something or expresses genuine curiosity, brain areas associated.
Screens will be like a knowledge source or something useful.
No, it's the same. The problem is you're either a buyer or a seller, a consumer or a distributor or a publisher. So if you got your kids meditation cushions and you see, I believe in performing experiments on your children for the positive.
Me too.
Meaning like, okay, kids, now we're going to practice meditation. And guess what? You're all in the Dr. Sasha band, and you play guitar, and you play drums, and you play percussion, and you're the singer, and now we're going to rotate. Now you're the drummer. I would make my kids into the Jackson, 5 or whatever, and I would be old man Jackson.
They gobble it up. Sorry, that came out. Gobble. Yeah, they gobble it up. They love it. It's like really
With empathy and trust building, activate in the interlocutors. This neurological mechanism, evolutionarily developed to facilitate social learning, is systematically sabotaged by environments that reward constant demonstrations of superiority. The ancestral wisdom captured in the Socratic paradox, I only know that I know nothing, finds scientific validation in psychologist Carol Dweck's work on fixed versus growth mindset. Her studies demonstrate that individuals who recognize and embrace their cognitive limitations demonstrate significantly greater learning capacity than those obsessed with protecting an image of intellectual perfection. What is revealed, therefore, is not just a social strategy, but a profound epistemological truth. Superior intelligence is not in knowing all the answers, but in recognizing the vastness of one's own. The Schopenhauerian strategy, when applied indiscriminately, transforms from philosophical liberation into a potentially devastating ethical prison. This is the contradiction rarely faced by enthusiasts of strategic stupidity. There are contexts where feigning ignorance transcends the field of social ineffectiveness and enters the territory of moral irresponsibility. In medical scenarios, for example, a professional who deliberately conceals knowledge to avoid intimidating patients can inadvertently cause irreparable harm. The Tuskegee case, where doctors deliberately omitted diagnoses and treatments for syphilis from African American patients under the pretext of simplifying communication, exemplifies the dark side of this approach when divorced from ethical responsibility. Contemporary philosopher Daniel Dennett directly questions the Schopenhauerian premise. There is a fundamental difference between authentic intellectual humility and the strategic simulation of ignorance. The first recognizes the limits of one's knowledge. The second deliberately falsifies them, a form of dishonesty that corrodes the very basis of rational discourse. For historically marginalized groups, adopting strategic stupidity frequently reinforces harmful stereotypes instead of overcoming them. Women scientists who deliberately
Okay, you want to listen to the rest of this Schopenhauer thing?
diminish their credentials to please male colleagues not only compromise their individual careers, they perpetuate systems that systematically devalue female contributions to knowledge. Social psychologist Claude Steele, in his research on stereotype threat, documents how members of stigmatized groups face a perverse dilemma: demonstrate competence and face social rejection.
Why is Amazon paying me $63,000 a month? Well, I didn't make this kind of money.
Or confirm negative stereotypes to gain acceptance. This dynamic exposes the unequal distribution of costs associated with the Schopenhauerian strategy in structurally unequal societies. The fundamental question, rarely articulated with clarity, is who can effectively afford to feign ignorance? The uncomfortable answer is that this strategy disproportionately privileges those whose intelligence is already presumed by the system upper-class white men, while penalizing those whose intellectual capacities are systematically questioned. Schopenhauer himself recognized this limitation when he observed that wisdom requires discernment about when to demonstrate knowledge and when to conceal it. This crucial nuance is often lost in superficial interpretations of his social philosophy. The balance, therefore, is not in choosing between arrogant display or strategic pretense, but in developing genuine contextual sensitivity, understanding when the direct expression of knowledge serves essential ethical purposes, and when its moderation facilitates meaningful human connections. History's greatest manipulators were not the brightest, but the most sensitive to the invisible dynamics between intelligence and power. This observation reveals the true axis around which Schopenhauerian philosophy revolves. It is not simply about choosing between displaying or concealing knowledge, but about developing a superior form of cognition that transcends this simplistic dichotomy. Relational intelligence, a concept that synthesizes the core of the Schopenhauerian proposal, is defined as the metacognitive ability to modulate the expression of one's knowledge according to the social context, strategic objective, and psychological needs of the interlocutors. It is not about a manipulation technique, but a superior understanding of human informational ecology. Research conducted by psychologist Howard Gardner on multiple intelligences offers scientific substrate for this perspective. Gardner documents how individuals with high interpersonal intelligence frequently outperform those with superior IQ. in contexts that require leadership and social influence. What is missing in his analysis, however, is precisely the Schopenhauerian element, strategic awareness about when to activate or suppress demonstrations of other forms of intelligence. A practical framework for developing relational diagnosing the context through three fundamental questions. What is the primary objective of this interaction? Information transfer, building emotional connection, or decisional influence? What is the psychological profile of the interlocutor in relation to the threat of perceived inferiority? What elements of the social environment amplify or neutralize implicit intellectual hierarchies? Neurologist Tara Swart identifies distinct neurological patterns in individuals with high relational intelligence. We observe greater connectivity between the prefrontal cortex and limbic system, allowing superior integration between cognitive processing and emotional reading. This neurological evidence suggests that the ability to modulate intellectual expression is not just a social skill, but an advanced form of brain integration. To develop this capacity, specific practical exercises demonstrate proven effectiveness. The deliberate practice of asking questions instead of offering answers. The conscious cultivation of strategic silences in heated discussions. The technique of empathic reformulation, where one repeats another's argument before presenting one's own. And the disciplined habit of identifying moments where the display of knowledge primarily serves egoic gratification instead of legitimate communicational purpose. The Schopenhauerian perspective, when translated into contemporary practices, does not propose falsity or manipulation, but a superior form of authenticity, one that recognizes the fundamentally relational nature of human intelligence. True genius is not in accumulating knowledge, but in applying it with precise relational discernment. The true mark of genius is not in what one says, but in what one deliberately chooses to keep silent. This subversive observation, which completely inverts the dominant logic of contemporary informational society, represents the deepest and least understood legacy of Schopenhauerian thought. In a world where digital platforms reward constant display of knowledge, and where algorithms transform intellectual ostentation into social capital, Schopenhauer's proposal emerges not only as philosophical counterculture, but as true neurological resistance. The human brain, evolutionarily adapted to environments where social connection determined physical survival, frequently interprets ostentatious intellectual superiority as an existential threat. The highest form of human wisdom manifests itself not only in knowing when to speak, but in completely mastering when to be silent, wrote Schopenhauer in a rarely cited fragment from his late manuscripts. This perspective finds disturbing echo in the discoveries of contemporary social neuroscience about how deep emotional bonds form precisely in spaces of shared vulnerability, not established dominance.
Yeah. It's good. It's not great. Not great, but it's good. It's close. There's something called The Fool's Journey. This woman does this very long, like hour-long walkthrough, which is very good. And then also C.G. Jung. This one book called Psychological Reflections is like a very powerful. Yeah, it's about the tarot and the fool. Let me get you the link. It's very good. That one, the one we just listened to, is I don't know. You might be right. It could have been created with like an AI.
I think it is. I think it's compiled by AI. I'm not like it's too. It's what it is edited by a human, but it was generated by AI, like the content, and like just kind of serviced like broader reviews and manicuring here and there. And definitely some fucking artificial algorithm like sorting that and producing it, which is which isn't bad, right? I mean, it's a tool. People that don't have discernment, they're gonna be fucked. People that have it,
I tell the young should temple what I should do.
okay,
I
good.
write a book where I should get in a book what I should do. And he wouldn't. And so I got mad at him. And I said, why is everybody so mean to me? And he said, why are you so mean to everybody? So I stormed out.
Did anyone see my Chinese kid? Sorry, I just had to show off my Chinese kid. You have to look so close to even perceive that he has double eyelids.
What makes him Chinese?
5/8 of his genome.
I know, but what's a Chinaman?
He just looks very Chinese. That's all. That's all he's doing. Like zoom up.
You created a China baby?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, right? My first son looks like he's jungle Asian, you know? Like obviously halvesy, but like he's dark. Like really light skinned. And this little guy is just like a little China boy. I don't know. I brought this up earlier. I should get off the horse, but it was just really fun. Oh yeah, it was funny because the guy was like, hey, stop, you wife Chinese.
All right, Dr. Sasha, I'm going to bed, but I put a link at the top. It's Alan Watts reading the Tao Te Ching. It's a very powerful hypnosis. I hope you enjoy it. And Chris, this is your gift. I hope you enjoy the hypnosis.
Thank you. I love hypnosis. Don't end it. Hold on 1 second. I just need to get the link. I need to be better hypnotized.
This is a very powerful hypnosis. It's like the source book of all source books, the Tao Te Ching.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
And I think it's AI generated. But click the link above. Okay, to talk to you tomorrow. I'm sure I'll see you online. Farewell. Have a good night. Bye.
More use